November 2022, $32 billion vanishes in 72 hours. Not from a war, not from a market crash, from one man's spreadsheet. A 30-year-old in cargo shorts built a crypto empire faster than Facebook, then destroyed it faster than Enron. Celebrities lost millions, pension funds evaporated. Regular people? They lost everything. He was called the next Warren Buffett. He slept on a beanbag. He played video games during billion-dollar meetings. So, here's the question that should terrify you.
How did the smartest people in finance hand their money to someone who couldn't afford a bed?
Let's find out. Sam Bankman-Fried, let's call him SBF, launches FTX from Hong Kong. His pitch? Simple. Boring, even. Better crypto trading, fewer fees, actual customer service. Within 2 years, FTX becomes the second largest crypto exchange on Earth, valued at $32 billion. That's more than Charles Schwab, more than Robinhood. SBF becomes the world's youngest billionaire, net worth $26 billion. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. He didn't want yachts. He didn't want Lamborghinis. He lived in a $4,000 a month apartment in the Bahamas with 9 roommates, all employees. His plan? Make billions, give it all away, something called effective altruism.
It comes down to maximizing expected value. If we can make a significant amount of money, we have an obligation to deploy that capital where it can do the most good.
Think about that. While we're stressing over our student loans, this guy's calculating how to donate his entire fortune before he turns 40. The media ate it up. Forbes called him the next Warren Buffett. Time magazine put him on the cover. Tom Brady became a spokesperson. Steph Curry, Larry David, Gisele Bündchen. FTX bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat arena for $135 million. Let me put that in perspective. That's enough money to buy a house for 2,700 American families. He spent it on a building's name. By 2022, SBF's testifying before Congress. They're asking him to help regulate crypto. The guy who barely combs his hair is now shaping financial policy. So, MIT genius builds a crypto empire in 3 years, lives like a monk, promises to save the world. But there's a problem. Behind every good origin story is a spreadsheet someone doesn't want you to see. Here's where it gets weird. FTX wasn't SBF's only company. There was another one, Alameda Research, a crypto hedge fund he'd started 2 years earlier, his first baby. In public, SBF swore these companies were separate, firewall, independent, totally different entities. In private, they were sharing a bank account. FTX customers would deposit cash to trade crypto, normal stuff. But instead of keeping that money safe, FTX was secretly lending it to Alameda. Imagine you put $10,000 in a bank. You think it's sitting in a vault, but the bank manager is actually using it to bet on horse races. That was the structure. Running Alameda, Carolyn Ellison, SBF's on and off girlfriend, 28 years old. And according to later testimony, she wasn't exactly a financial mastermind. She'd take billions in customer funds, make wild leverage crypto bets, and when those bets went south, FTX would just refill the account. They were running a casino with someone else's chips. Then came May 2022, the Terra Luna collapse. $40 billion in crypto value, gone overnight. Alameda lost big, really big. And suddenly, there's an $8 billion hole in FTX's balance sheet. $8 billion. That's more than the GDP of 50 countries. Gone. So, the crypto genius was running a hedge fund with his girlfriend using customer money, and when the bets failed, he covered it up. But in crypto, you can only hide the truth until someone asks to withdraw their cash. November 2nd, 2022, CoinDesk publishes a leaked balance sheet. It shows Alameda's assets are mostly FTT, FTX's own made-up token. It's like discovering a bank's vault is full of monopoly money, printed by the bank itself. Enter CZ, Changpeng Zhao, CEO of Binance, FTX's biggest rival. He tweets, "We're selling all our FTT tokens." And just like that, the run begins. Customers rush to pull their money. $6 billion in withdrawal requests in 72 hours. FTX can't process them because the money isn't there. SBF tweets, "FTX is fine, assets are fine." They weren't fine. FTT collapses from $22 to $2 in 2 days. November 11th, FTX files for bankruptcy. 3 years to build a $32 billion empire, 3 days to burn it down. 1 million customers locked out, life savings gone, retirement funds erased. The average FTX customer lost $70,000. That's a year's salary for most Americans. Tom Brady deletes his tweets, Steph Curry goes silent, Larry David's FTX commercial gets pulled. The Miami Heat tears down the FTX sign. Fastest naming rights deal reversal in sports history. And SBF? He's still in the Bahamas, tweeting apologies, doing interviews. Until December 12th, he's arrested at his apartment, extradited to New York. Charges? Wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, conspiracy. So, a leaked document, a rival's tweet, a bank run, and the second largest crypto exchange on Earth evaporates in 72 hours. But here's the real question. How did nobody see this coming? Let's go back, because the red flags weren't hidden. They were everywhere. Red flag number 1. SBF ran a multi-billion-dollar company from a luxury penthouse with no HR, no board meetings, and no real accounting. Employees later testified there was regular drug use, stimulants to work, downers to sleep. Red flag number 2. In interviews, SBF would openly mock regulation, call it theater, say compliance was just for show. He told us exactly who he was. We just liked the story better than the truth. Red flag number 3, the celebrity blitz. When a company spends more on marketing than on audits, that's not confidence, that's distraction. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just regular people who got fooled. Sequoia Capital invested $150 million. SoftBank, BlackRock, the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. These are the smartest investors on Earth, and they didn't ask for audited financials. Why? Because everyone was too afraid to miss out. Crypto was the future. SBF was the genius. If you didn't invest, you'd look stupid. Sound familiar? It's the same reason we buy shoes we don't need, follow diets that don't work, and chase trends we don't understand. We don't want to miss the wave, even when the wave is made of red flags. By 2023, the trials begin. Carolyn Ellison testifies, admits everything, gets a reduced sentence. SBF takes the stand, claims he didn't know, didn't understand, made mistakes. November 2023, guilty on all 7 counts. March 2024, sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. So, the warning signs were everywhere. The smartest people ignored them, and a 30-year-old in cargo shorts walked away with billions until he couldn't. Which brings us to the only question that matters. What does this say about us? Here's the thing about the FTX collapse. It wasn't really about crypto. It wasn't even about fraud. Remember that monopoly money? The tokens FTX printed to back itself? That's not a crypto problem. That's a belief problem. Enron, Theranos, Bernie Madoff, WeWork. Every decade, we fall for the same story. A charismatic founder, a complicated product, a promise that sounds too good to be true. And we believe, not because the numbers make sense, but because everyone else believes. We didn't lose money because SBF lied. We lost money because we were terrified of being left behind. So here's the paradox we started with. How did the smartest people in finance hand billions to a guy in cargo shorts who slept on a beanbag? Because intelligence doesn't protect you from fear, and fear doesn't care how smart you are. FTX is gone. SBF is in prison. The money is not coming back. But the next FTX, it's already out there. Different name, different founder, same story. So ask yourself, what are you believing right now? Not because it's true, but because you're afraid of missing out. If this video made you rethink something, hit like. If it made you uncomfortable, even better, share it. And if you want more stories about money, power, and the psychology behind both, subscribe. Because the next empire is already being built. Let's make sure we see it coming this time.